I'm Steve Croft.
I'm Leslie Stahl.
I'm Bob Simon.
I'm Morley Safer.
I'm Colin Varga.
I'm Lena Lundy. I'm Morgan Maddy.
I'm Scott Pelley. Those stories and Andy Rooney tonight on 60 Minutes.
We have a very special interview for you tonight. Since April 18, 1775, there has been a large controversy over the Midnight Ride. Many believe the rider to be Paul Revere, but as our own Morgan Maddy reports, that might not be the case.
Deep in the heart of Boston, we travel back to colonial times, April 18, 1775. We all believe this is the day Paul Revere rode to Lexington and Concord to warn the colonial militia of the British arrival. But the truth is, Revere never made it to either place, as we sit down with the other riders, William Dawes and Samuel Prescott.
So, how do you feel about your lack of credit that you get for your actions on April 18th?
I feel that it is unnecessary. The credit should be given to all three of us riders, because, we all contributed. And to tell you the truth, Paul Revere, that little rat, he did the least out of all three of us.
What would you say was your biggest contribution to the warning of the colonial militia?
My arrival at Lexington was vital to our win at Concord. Had it not been for the large amount of British patrols, I would have continued all the way to there in one steady ride.
What was your involvement with the Boston militia?
Just before these events, I was promoted to second major of my regiment.
What other organizations were you a part of?
Well, I was a member of the Sons of Liberty, and I was also a Freemason, to tell you, and they were pretty fun being there.
What was the most daring thing that you've ever done?
Oh, the most daring thing? Let me think. On October of 1774, I led a break-in at the gun house of the Boston Commons, where I managed to steal 2 cannons. Count them. 2. Okay? Those cannons were useful throughout the length of our war.
And how did you meet Joseph Warren?
Well, I met that good old chap down after the break-in. I injured my arm, and I needed treatment. So I went to Warren, who was the doctor. It just so happens that he was one of the 3 that sent the 3 of us on this ride.
And what do you recall from that night?
Well, it's pretty hazy, I think. After me and Revere set off, we split up and took different routes to Lexington. I arrived at Lexington in time to warn Sam Adams and John Hancock. After that, we set off for Concord, even meeting with Prescott himself. The one who made it. Fortunately, we didn't, but whatever. By around, say what, 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, sun barely hasn't come up yet, still pretty dark. We ran to the British patrol where Revere was captured. Sucks to be him. Glad it wasn't me though. Oh, I'm a sneaky little one.
Last thing, how do you feel about Revere getting all the attention for a ride you played a major role in?
Well, I feel that more credit should go to me, of course, and to Prescott. And the event should just be called the Midnight Ride. Or perhaps the Midnight Ride of Prescott and me, Dawes, of course. Now, obviously there are more, because there were more contributions from us than Revere himself.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
And our own Lena Lundy has met with Samuel Prescott.
How do you feel about your lack of credit for your role in the Midnight Ride?
I feel like I'm not giving any credit whatsoever, as I was the only one to reach Concord.
And you were originally from Concord, so did that give you an advantage in your part of the role?
I feel that my knowledge of the woods was able to get me free from the British patrols that were around, and I was able to navigate the woods quicker than the other 2 riders.
What was your career outside of this event?
I was an apprentice to my father, and after that I went into medicine and I became a doctor.
And were you a part of the Sons of Liberty as well?
Yes, I was.
And where were you the night of the ride?
Oh, I was in Lexington visiting my fiance, and whenever I left Lexington, I met up with Dawes and Revere to ride to Concord, because I was in Lexington to report on the how they were doing with burying the weapons and how they were getting ready to fight the oncoming British patrol. And after that, I left like a half hour after they had, and we met up close to a mile away from Lexington.
And what else happened that night? Is that all?
After we met up, we rode towards Concord, and we ran into a British patrol of 4 horsemen. With my knowledge of the woods, I was able to quickly escape and route to Concord. Revere was quickly captured, and Dawes was able to escape, but I had already reached Concord by the time of his escape, so he just returned to Lexington. And I went on to ride to other parts of Massachusetts, other cities close by Concord, to rally more troops there, just in case they were needed after Concord.
And how do you feel that Revere is the only one remembered?
I feel that I should get more credit because I was the only one able to reach Concord, and I also went to warn other colonial armies within the area, and that helped contribute to our win there against the British.
Okay, thank you for your time, Doctor.
No problem.